Hello everyone. Today's video we're going to be enjoying a nice relaxing flight over the Caucasus Mountains. Now when I originally had planned this flight, I suggested flying in the Pitts 2S, which is this little rinky-dink thing that's right to my right here. After testing and after, kind of going through and sort of inspecting these mountain ranges, it quickly occurred to me that there's no way in the universe that little tiny propeller jockey is going to be able to get through these mountains in a reasonable amount of time. So one thing I do suggest is getting yourself something that could probably do between 350 and 450 knots. I'll wait a few minutes here. Like I said, kind of a last minute change. But when I was doing my testing, these mountains are a lot taller than not that I didn't realize that, but they're a little bit much for a piston-powered plane. We'll routinely be exceeding altitudes of probably 15,000 feet down from 4,000 or 5,000 feet. So we definitely need something that's got a little bit of kick today. So the plane I've chosen is, of course, the Lima 39. People who know DCS, of course, you're looking around going, gee, I wonder what your inspiration for this was. And yeah, I was thinking DCS when I first got this. Technically, I could go pop us into an F-16 or an F-18, which would both be a fine aircraft, of course, for the purposes of getting us going here. But for this one, I'm actually going to go kind of conventional with this guy because this is going to work great for us. It's a very, very easy plane to operate. No real drama in this one. It's got a max of 8 Gs, which is plenty. And believe it or not, we're probably going to use all 8 Gs of this and several of the turns that we're actually going to be experiencing today. So this is going to be an absolute blast. Let's see here. For those of you joining us, we are at Uniform Golf Tango Bravo. This is Mestia Queen Tamar Airport. And this is near, we're heading out to Lucini, which is in Tbilisi, which is all in Georgia. Like I said, you're going to be seeing some monstrously massive mountains today. And there's no exaggeration to that at all. It'll, like I said, it'll impress you how big these things are. So I've got myself an L-39. This is a kind of a Czech trainer, absolutely fantastic little airplane. You actually can fly this one from the back seat if you're so inclined. Very easy, no real drama for this plane. Now, the one downside that I don't love about it is its range isn't spectacular. It'll certainly get you there, but it won't get you there necessarily all the way to the next country over. One thing I love about it, though, look at this. It's got a button for flaps. I don't know. I think those things are just so silly. And of course, all the fun military buttons that you see down here for like all my different gun sights and stuff like that. We don't have any of that here. This was the stunt jet version of this. One thing I do want to do, though, is I see that I'm already at a dangerous altitude, which that's putting it lightly. I'm just going to go ahead and change that here. Obviously, 60 meters is pretty low. It's about 200 feet. I'm going to go up to 100 meters here, which is going to give us about 300 feet-ish. More or less, it's probably going to be enough. Just check to make sure that works. Speed brakes should be deployed. Are those going to come down today? Yep, those are going to come down. We're going to check our flaps all the way to landing configuration, all the way up to takeoff configuration. Looks pretty good to me. Test the brakes. Gotta love Russian brakes. Of course, what do you mean by that? See this little lever on the back? That's my brake handle. Love that. I don't know. I always get a tick out of that. That just puts a smile on my face every time. All right, let's get this show on a road here. We're definitely going to need something that can get us going. Now, one thing you probably will see right away is the fact that I'm only carrying half a tank of gas here. Usually when I do these kinds of flights, I fill the sucker up all the way, but I have to take off half tank. Otherwise, I'm not getting down this runway and getting into the air. Matter of fact, I'm going to use as much runway as I possibly can mechanically extract out of this plane to try to get airborne. What I probably should do before I even do that, and I recommend everybody else do this real fast, is I recommend coming up here and changing your damage to easy. The only reason being is for those of you who decide to fly extra low today, you don't want to run into anything accidentally and get all crunched up because there's not a lot of places to take off once you see kind of where we are today. All right, let's get going. I'm just going to go into the woods here with a fighter jet. Yes, you could take this fighter jet off from stuff like this. It's not recommended, but what are you going to do to me? It's flight sim. Also, I love the fact I pick random pilots here and I have a random pilot in the front seat and a random pilot in the back seat, and they're both the same people. Love it. Alrighty then. Oh boy, somebody's got a C-25 here. And oh, we've got such a great turnout. F-18. I don't know what's up with that. Oh, we have another L-39. Okay, we're ready to go. All right, let's give everybody the wiggle waggles. One fun thing to do, of course, is we have rudder pedals like mine. You can kick the rudder let go and it goes boing, boing. All right, let me go ahead and get everything all set up as far as where we need to go. All right, so we're going to take off. We're going to take the world's tightest left turn, and wow, this is going to be an adventure. This is going to be an adventure. So I'll do the best I can to keep an eye on the chat, but the altitude we're going to be operating at today is going to be kind of dangerous for it. So let's roll and see what happens. Ready to go. That'll do it. Oh man, this is going to be so sketchy. Oh, man. I'm already feeling like we're not going to make it to the end of the runway here. I'm just going to adjust knobs while I'm taking off. That seems safe. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Did I mention we're doing low altitude work today? Oh my gosh. Oh, that was close. That was close. All right, let's start building up some speed here. I'm actually going to take us all the way around in a big old donut here. So for those of you still joining us, it gives you a little bit of time to kind of get caught up. I thought we weren't going to make that, but what I have to actually do is turn ourselves around in this valley and then start making our way down the other way. Now, the Caucasus Mountains, of course, like I was saying earlier, this is for those of you who are DCS fans. You've flown through these mountains plenty, often in much, much faster planes than this, but this will be a very, very high-speed experience today. All right, let's do it. Make myself a big old donut. Now, when I was originally doing the math on this, like I said, with the pits, I realized it's never going to be able to do this in a reasonable amount of time. I'm just going to come spin us around here. I'm going to unload the aircraft as we buzz it real fast. And then we're going to start making our way down. You will not believe the size of the mountains you're going to be seeing today. Absolutely massive mountains. Absolutely huge mountains. And believe it or not, we have to start by getting over one of them. So I just find that kind of neat. All right, got to wave to everybody as we kind of sneak by. How's it going, folks? VL3. Yeah, it's going to be a little slow. All righty, let's do it. And let the nausea begin. There we go. And the incredible thing here is, for those of you who turned on real-world weather earlier, you probably said, oh, how's it looking today? Oh, let's give it a shot and see what happens. Give me just a second here. Wait for it. Wait for it. Ah, there we are. So yes, we are in October, and this whole place is absolutely covered in snow already. It almost got like an Everest kind of thing. And you can see how my controls are sort of bouncing themselves around already, but it's actually a pretty clear day today, which is not too bad. Go ahead and shut this sucker off. I kind of like my high-level clouds here. It's going to be a pretty good look for us. All right, so here's what we got to do. We're going to get up over this mountain. You can see certain depth right there. You can see how that little valley looks good. But if you look on the opposite side of the valley, you can see that it just goes higher. There's simply nowhere we can go once we get to that particular point. So we are going to cheat a little tiny bit here and get up over this so that we can get onto the other side and be on our way here. Oh, boy. Smooth actions. Smooth actions. Reminds me of flying in the Andes. These things are incredibly tall. Oopsie daisies. Oh, there goes all the change in my pocket. Now, apparently there is a world record for doing stupid things like this. I don't actually know what the world record is. And I also like the fact that my radar altimeter is actually operating properly right now. I'm not 100% sure how it would know that I'm at a certain altitude, but that's okay. All right, let's do it to it. Now, one of the things Flight Sims doesn't simulate accurately here is if I give this a tug at this speed, I should be probably 6-7 Gs right there coming out of this. Maybe not. We're doing 413. That should be enough for a few Gs. But it dampens your controls for you to make it a little bit easier. It's a good thing. It's a bad thing. And again, certain death trying to get up that as well because we can't. We'd basically bottom out. All right, pop over. We're going to be dinging into Russia real fast for a second here, but that's okay. Whee! Look at that. Absolutely beautiful landforms here. I like how my little landing lights are sort of chilling there. I probably don't like the fact that I'm not looking where I'm going. Probably not safe. All right. We're good here. Hop right on over one more time. We never like to push the nose forward. I think my tail almost struck the ground there. There we go. Enjoy our little journey into the valley here. Pick up a little bit of speed, and we're going to go ripping through that canyon right there. Now, the interesting thing is this isn't the scary part of our journey today. The scary part comes when we get to the other side of the valley. I love the fact that there's someone just doing the little honeymoon trip down here. Imagine how beautiful this region. I mean, you can see it for yourself, just how amazing it is already. All right, let's go ahead down to where the water is. The thicker the water, the wider it is, the less likely we are to encounter a steep mountain. Unless, of course, you're dealing with Niagara Falls or something like that. Excellent. Yes, there's some pretty crazy things you can do with airliners, but a lot of Soviet airliners and Russian airliners, by effect there, they actually did a lot of work to optimize them so they could take off and land in all sorts of fun conditions because they have a lot of weather. So it's kind of one of those things where you'll see like the gravel guards and stuff like that on the wheels. And I've actually seen 727s, even in the United States, that have the gravel guards, or even like, places like Africa, for example, where a lot of things are kind of unprepared, sort of whatever strip they sort of have that they can use. But it'll actually stop it from basically ejecting gravel directly into the air intakes of the engine. Not a good combination. Oh, man. So when we're done our flight today, just a quick friendly reminder, make sure you check yourself for digital ticks here. Obviously, like I said, it's the winter right now. Well, not winter, it's fall, but... All right, ready for a really tight turn? Alrighty then, let's do it. There we go. Oh, there goes all my change again. Whatever you do, don't dive into the valley below us. All you're going to want to do is go straight for that valley ahead of us. Whee! Very nice. Of course, for the folks who get easy motion sickness here, this is going to be quite a trip. Love it. Oh, man, that's awesome. Look at that valley. It's amazing. All right, let's have some fun. Going down. One of the things I really like about the L-39 in flight sim more so than DCS is it's just stable. Like, you don't have to stress about it. Like, there's very, very little things that are going to crash it other than the ground. So you don't have to worry about snapping your wings off on high G maneuvers or anything like that. Right. Oh, man, this is so sketchy. Oh, we got all sorts of people catching up with us. All right, let's see what you got. All right, so you're going to be taking a right turn at the end of this valley, just in case anybody needs to get ahead here. Yeehaw! Now, when you load up the Gs, remember it's a smooth loading action. It's not snap. Of course, if you're in F-16, you can goof off as much as you want. Now, for those of you who have seen the latest Top Gun movie, you can't help but wonder where the SAM sites are sitting on the mountains here. That does not stop some jerk with a shoulder-mounted anti-heat missile, or heat-seeking missile, I should say, to go ahead and take a pot shot at us at this altitude. But it's unlikely. Fortunately, my Georgian is not good enough iCard. Oh. Love this region. It is just so much fun to fly in. By the way, certain death in a moment. It won't make sense until you see it in a second. And there's your certain death. If we were a propeller-driven plane, we'd be doing our panicked canyon turns, trying to get ourselves out of here. But one of the things I find interesting, if you look at my attitude indicator right now, I'm actually tipped to the right. To give you an idea. Now, again, we're just crossing through. What do we got there? That's about 9,000 feet. And then we got to go right back down the other side of it. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's all my quarters again. And we're going to come ripping down this valley here, pick up all sorts of speed. All I have to say is, man, your controls better be really smooth and harmonized for this stupid kind of flying. And 700 kilometers an hour right there. We're moving. I think I saw an orange tree. There we go. Finally get to relax just a little bit for a moment here as we go ripping down this really, really low altitude piece. Man, if anybody needs some farmland, look somewhere else. If you need some wood, though, we got you covered. Of course, if we were in the pits instead of the jets, we could go a little lower, but I don't trust myself at these altitudes as it is. Of course, the biggest danger, as I've said hundreds of times when we've done low-time stuff like this, you got to watch out for wires that go across these kind of valleys, because a wire will end our flight very quickly, and we will not see it until we've already hit it, especially doing these kinds of speeds. There we go. Go ahead and bring this one out. Whoopsie daisies. Nice. All right, here comes our next turn. It's going to be a left turn. A left turn out of this valley here. If you want to be nice and lazy, just go right over that mountain on my left. If you want to be like me, you can be dumb and just pull yourself right down back into where this water is. Oh, there we go. Delightful. Imagine how good the fishing is here. I am not a fly fishing person. There we go. All right, now we get to relax for a minute here. I would love to turn my head around and say hello to everybody, but, like, I'm terrified. This looks good here. All right, now that we've got a relaxing part of our flight going here, we can chat a little bit. So things have been interesting on my end. As those of you know, I teach, so it makes things kind of interesting once the school year gets started. Of course, all my students rediscover, and I get a bunch of free subscriptions. Yay! But the big thing here is that my life gets incredibly busy. I also teach university, so one of the things that I do as well is that eats up a lot of Saturdays. So it's kind of one of those things where from time to time it kind of goes away. Yeah, there we go. I love it. Nice. Sweet. So beautiful. I just love this region. Of course, when it gets all snowy. I mean, these are evergreen trees, so it doesn't get too nasty. Alrighty then. I'm lazy or to not be lazy. I'm gonna be lazy. Down this way. Kind of undo that. I will tell you one thing. I really appreciate the roll right on not professional, on really, really heavy duty military jets about now, but I can tolerate this. There we go. Nice and easy. And if I did my calculations correct, which I probably did, that should dump us right out on a town in a second. I'm gonna let us slide sideways here rather than go completely inverted. There we go. So one of those things they teach you is you never push forward. Oh, I just got past. Yeah, down to the valley. I'm gonna fly sideways for a second. I'm just gonna let my nose drop on its own. Do some commercial maneuvering here. And we're gonna go ripping down into this valley at really high speed. Nice. Man, we're moving. Love it. So, of course, like I said, I've missed a few Saturday of our live stream events because I've not been around. So, sorry about that for everybody who's curious. This is actually the wrong way. There's a split here, and I always take the wrong one. Ah! Actually, I gotta come back down this way. That's okay, though. Nice. That's somebody's house. There we go. Now we're in the correct valley. Kind of reminds me of, like, the Ardennes. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. Hey, there's a highway. Neat. Oops, somebody else's house. Imagine how fun it is getting groceries when you live out here. I mean, we have the advantage that we're traveling 400 knots. These folks don't. Gotta pop and power in over here. Should be another valley. I think we're going to get a look at the town on the other side, though. Yes, no, maybe so. Yep, it's right down there. Nice. Nose carrying me downwards. That looks good. I'll go ahead and pull back. One of the things I like about this airplane, too, is in a dive, I'm not going to suddenly take my wings off. Oh, man, think of how much fun that road's going to be to rip around. Love it. So flying news, of course, I did get a chance to do some flying. One of the interesting things they always talk about, of course, is what can go wrong when you go flying. And we had kind of a new one for me. Like I said, each time you fly, you never know what's going to get messed up. So this is a Cessna 182 that I was operating in the real world here, which it's a tanky McTanky plane. It's neat, but it does things that I don't love. But anyway, so we have an Aspen on it. And the Aspen is it's a digital display, which kind of lets you know what your speed and attitude is and like your heading. And it's a really, really nice piece of machinery, like really, really, really good. So I was doing a couple approaches on it, so just coming down to a landing kind of a thing. And I know my first one, I hadn't flown in a little while, so you know how it is. Go to land, I end up going around. Okay, going around, that's the safe thing to do. So I come back around, I land the plane, and I was just really surprised by how much runway I was chewing up. Like I couldn't believe it. I was just not bouncing, but like really, really sucking down the 2,000 feet of runway in a 182. You don't need that much runway in a 182. You need half that. So I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was, flying my usual 70 miles an hour, which is pretty typical for that aircraft. And it just was bizarre. So, I did another landing later on, and I actually bounced, which was really embarrassing with passengers, because you have to explain to them, why is it that you went around once, and then you bounced us down the runway the next time? You can see where this is going. Of course, the third landing was perfect. Like, textbook. Of course, we were lighter, and you know how it goes. But what had happened, of course, is the airspeed component of the Aspen was wrong by 20 miles per hour. So it was one of those things where I was approaching to land. You sit there, you push the throttle forward, you look over at the airspeed, and you're doing 65, and you're like, uh-oh. So you push the throttle forward a little more, you look at the airspeed, you're just starting to do 70, and you're like, man, what's going on here? So turns out the airspeed indicator was reading 20 miles an hour slow. Yes. So my speed that I was actually doing was 80 miles an hour as opposed to 60 miles an hour. So anybody who knows anything about landing planes, which we all do, is the faster you go, the more awkward and dangerous and potentially wrecked you're going to make the airplane that you're operating. So no joke here as well. So, of course, I'm flying my plane, doing the thing. And then I looked it up, and it turns out, yes, the airspeed indicator was not reading correctly. So I'm sitting there going, wow, that could have been bad, because when you put your flaps down on a 182, you can't just dump 40 degrees of flaps right away. You got to kind of wait for it, sort of a thing like that. So I'm sitting there going, yikes. So, of course, in that airplane, and I'm kicking myself, and here's the lesson of the day, everybody, has 3 airspeed indicators. So it's not only do you have the Aspen, but you actually have 2 different ones as well, kind of spread around the cabin, so to speak. So it's one of those situations where do your cross checks. It really would make a difference, because those other airspeed indicators, there's nothing to say that they were wrong. But of course, then your eyes are in like 6 different places during a visual approach. But that's what we do as pilots. So just a friendly PSA, keep an eye out for your instruments. They don't always work. Of course, safe flights and all that. And I've got some flight planned for Monday, assuming the use, based not the snow. That would be interesting. Assuming the clouds do not block us that day. Debating Maine, might go down to Maryland. Gotta kind of decide. Man, I love these mountains. Could you imagine hiking here? Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and do a really tight turn in a second. We're gonna make our way back towards the south. There's the dam. Nice. Get ready for a nice long right turn. Here we go. Start winding it up just a little bit, just a little bit. For those of you who are VR pilots, you definitely appreciate this because of just how huge everything is. Of our TCS folks, if you haven't flown around this region, you are missing out. It is awesome, especially in something stupid like an F-16. Especially if you take all the armament off of it. I would not fly A-10s, and I would definitely not fly helicopters if you can help it. It's no fun. All right, time to take a turn. Everybody put your right turn signal on. And take a right. I love this in the real plane because your whole body goes, whoa, it starts floating, and then you start sliding a little bit, but you don't even feel it. It's a very strange sensation. There it is right there. Nice. I'm going to do a little bit of anti-canyon flying here. I'm actually going to break myself out. Kind of sneak down to the left a little bit. There it is. Love it. Oh, I just got past. Bye, ton. An F-104. Oh, man, he's going to be having fun with this today. Reason I say is that because of these tight turns. F-104 would have been an interesting choice for this flight. I probably would run it out of fuel, though. As a matter of fact, if you look over on the right, I've got, I don't know, 280 kilograms of fuel left in this thing. So I am sucking it down. Of course, I've been at 100% N1 this entire time, so it doesn't surprise me. There we go. I like that. Uh-oh. This is how people crash. They're like, oh, I can just pull back a little bit. But if you look, I'm already doing 20 degrees nose up, and I'm already down to like 500 kilometers an hour. Love it. Ah, we get to take a nice, relaxing break for a second here. That should be a nice lake right now. Ah, so if you look over at my altitude right now, you'll observe that we're chilling at about 10,000 feet. So this is one of the great plateaus that they actually have down look northern Georgia here. And of course, I get to stretch out. Hopefully I don't run into anything going. My brain probably tells me like we're in like southern Argentina or something right now. But again, this region is a little different. Take up a little bit of time. Notice there's nobody living out here. If you're kind of hustling across this, I'm not sure what you're going for here. But again, everybody's different. It has to have a place to live. All right, so we're going to be coming out in a large valley. You'll notice I'm kind of keeping a little bit of altitude here and not diving right into that hole because we're going to have to take a really tight right turn in a second. Oh, man, this is crazy. There it is. All right, we're going to start bringing ourselves south now. We're going to be heading towards Tbilisi proper. Oh, boy, here it comes. Of course, the back of my head's like my description. Well, I said Caucasus. I didn't say Georgia. If I said Georgia, people might get confused and saying, that doesn't look like Atlanta. There's also Georgia in England. I think there's also Jersey, if I recall. Another interesting piece about flying in myself in the real world news is the group that we fly with is looking to obtain a Cessna 150. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, kind of being like, what am I going to do with that? The one advantage, of course, of a plane like that, it's cheap. One disadvantage of it is it has a calendar instead of an airspeed indicator, but that's just kind of what it is. Oh man, this is these mountains are opening up a little bit, but if you take a look, I'm still about 4,900 feet right now, so we are not low. We do not have mountains like this where I live. Kind of reminds me of almost like a Utah. Ah, we found where everybody lives again. You can tell we're slowly getting closer to where the cities are. Slowly. Nice. We could probably get a little bit lower, but I don't know. Some dude's fishing off the bridge, all of a sudden, whoosh. Poor guy. Scaring all the fish. There we go. That's about as low as I feel like getting. I don't trust the terrain modeling here to get any lower than this, because I think there's supposed to be water there, but there isn't. But that's okay. I like how this is only about, what do we got, 389 right now, knots? Imagine this at 700 or 800 knots. Those are fun times. I have to actually, like, concentrate now. I'm kind of low. Oh, boy. Imagine doing this in the wind and the rain. Load the plane. Whee! I guess the real challenge here is, can you fly this entire thing with the dangerous altitude light on? That's it. Those are the things people crash into. See it? Right there. The tower. Nice. This is Lima 39. This is the Albatross. Absolutely fantastic Russian jet trainer. Czech jet trainer, I take it back. No, I think the FRF got ahead of us again. Oh, no. I got past in a VL3. Yeah, no, I didn't. Also, not in this thing. This thing is an embarrassment of an attack airplane. I think it's funny when you fire the rockets on it, it slows you down so dramatically. It's like, oh, I can finally breathe for a second here and enjoy the nice scenery. So instead of scaring the fishermen now, we'd be scaring, some guy in his kayak or his little paddleboard or something like that. Not exactly sure. It's probably pretty cold outside this time of year, so maybe not. But we get these lovely lakes we're just kind of shooting across. Hey, we found people again. Right, not bad. Not bad at all. I'm trying so hard not to hit the ground there. This is when you need one of those force-sensitive control sticks as opposed to the ones that are actually move. You can see the twitch in my hand, the way the nose goes up and down every once in a while. There we go. I'm trying really hard not to crash here. All right, so I think there's a waterfall or a dam there. All right, steady. We're gonna be taking a right turn in a second here. There we go. Nice and easy. You guys did remember to pack good luggage before we did this. Oh, we're getting past in the VL3 again. Careful, buddy. Careful. Taking a right here. Oh, I don't like that turn. I feel like I just skidded the wingtip into the water for a second there. Very, very pretty dams, by the way, in Georgia, for those of you who have not seen pictures of them. And there's one right there. Whee! Now, this is where I can finally, reduce my grip on the stick a little bit here. And we can actually start thinking about getting ready for landing. I know, we've worked so hard here. Settle down. I can give myself a couple of taps of trim. Maybe take it easy for half a second here and see who's joining us today. Code of Fire, welcome back. Limes, welcome back. Simon, welcome back. I think that's Lafarog. Oh, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I think one of our new ones today is J2020 FSers over there in the VL3. Welcome. Nice. I knew I'd finally get an opportunity to relax. Now, for those of you who are DCS fans, whenever you've done all those shenanigans and you come to this point in your journey, this is usually when the little light that says bingo comes on and you go, ah! Then you got to turn around and go home before you get to your target zone here. This is very fun with attack helicopters, by the way, because it's so easy to move around this region. Imagine how tired my character's right hand would be, like your pilot. Oof. Man, this would be work. This would be work. Uh-oh. Orange light. Orange light. It's fine. Oh, orange light again. Nothing to worry about. Running low on combustibles. Awesome. Alrighty. Let's get some ILS all set up over, kind of enjoying this part of the flight. Give myself a little more nose up trim, though. That was kind of sketchy. Alrighty, here we go. Up. Let's see, we need 11030 today. This is so much easier to do in the real world. There we go. The reason it's easier to do in the real world for me, by the way, is because I fly with a co-pilot all the time. 11030 on the VOR, please. Okay. Love it. Oh, man, look at this region. We did check for digital checks, right? Digital checks. All right. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I would definitely not want to try to drive an army through this region. This would be insane. Look at this. Look at this. That's our picture right there. Yes. Great formation flying, everybody. Wires. Wires. It's a big house. Holy smokes. Oh, got past. Fox 1. Fox 1. Little gory. Codify knows where we're going. All right, ready for the interesting part of our journey today? This is like tiring. Good thing we're not flying in instruments without an autopilot. I'm taking a nap already. Ready? Here we go. Upsy daisies. I love how Russian attitude indicators show me actually upside down. Ah. Welcome, everybody, to Tbilisi. This is our terminus. So it's kind of interesting to having ripped around through those mountains like that and all that insanity. And all of a sudden you snap your fingers and it's like, what? And instantly you have yourself in a major, modern, heavily populated city with all sorts of stuff going on through this lovely place here. And that's one of the things I just absolutely love about these regions, where it's like, wait, what? How does this many people live here? Wait for it. Our DCS fans, of course, have probably dropped a little bit of ordnance on this town. I feel sorry for it sometimes. And probably gotten shut up at it a few times as well, depending. But it is a very large, modern, very, very cool city. For those of you who are big Google Earth fans, definitely open this one up in VR. It's pretty cool. Like, it's a really, really, really neat region. So we're going to be doing the ILS today, keeping it nice and simple for us. So what I'm going to do is switch this one over real quick. Rick only crashed once. Nice. I actually don't think I hit anything today. I could have flown with damage turned on and been all right. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little bit of power here. 250s are more than slow enough. A couple taps of the up trim. I can finally relax after this. Man, what a flight. What a flight. A little shorter today, but that's okay. I have an interesting obligation I have this afternoon, which is going to be a lot of fun. There's our destination. Easy peasy. I could probably coast in from here, believe it or not. This aircraft is low drag. High speed, low drag. Let's switch over to VOR. And we need to come to my left more. Easy peasy. There we go. And that looks pretty good there. Glide slope. Glide slope. Another one of the interesting ones that I encountered several times on my previous journey a couple weeks ago is I was flying the Cessna 182, was trying to get into a traffic pattern when there's a bunch of very high-speed aircraft behind you. It is a unpleasant experience, to say the least, because as you're kind of doing this, they immediately scream at you to keep your speed up so that you can safely get on the ground in front of all the traffic that's basically queued up behind you. So it's interesting, to say the least. Love this thing. It takes basically nothing to keep it all nice and balanced here. There we go. Nice. That's pretty good there. About 140 should be pretty good. Whoop, got past. Couple more clicks of trim here. Right on glide slope, right on the localizer. Come on. Come on. I think I've run out of nose-up trim on this thing. What I need to do is tell the person in the back seat to lean back a little bit to make it a little bit easier to come in. Yeah, getting a little high. I think we picked up some speed there. Flight instructors always call this playing the video game. There we go, right there. Can't quite hands off this one, but it's kind of fun to watch. Idiot check. Make sure you got all the switches set where you want them. See what happens when you go to third person in the real world? You find yourself way off track. Nice. Speed's good. Wish I could see. Set up a little higher in the cockpit, see if it's a little easier. Pretty good. We could actually coast it all the way down. This thing is just that easy to fly. Skirt, skirt! Eat it. I was disappointed by the lack of skirt on that landing there. All right, folks, we made it. Believe it or not, that journey covered a distance of about 150 miles. And it's kind of incredible when you really think about just how insane it was to try to get through that. Normally at this point, of course, I say if we'd like to do a picture, come meet me over at the terminal kind of a thing. But we already got a fantastic picture during our journey today that I'll use as our little kind of cover image. That'll be kind of nice to use. So at the end of all of our live streams, I always like to do a quick little kind of Q&A, asking if anybody has any questions or anything that they're asking or they're curious about, future videos. We have some stuff coming out in the next video. Just some things I've been picking up in general aviation land, which I felt were kind of relevant that people might be interested kind of doing. So what I'm going to do, while anybody thinks that they have any questions or things they'd like to see as videos, I'm going to go get ourselves set up, and we're going to go swimming up north in a second here. But got to kind of get all set up. Oh, they closed that runway. Love it. Yes. Not bad, not bad. Like I said, a little short today. The only reason, like I said, I got a thing that we have to go to right basically at lunchtime. So I'm definitely want to get that going ASAP. But it was still a lot of fun. And man, that my right foot is shaking a little bit because of just trying to keep all those turns coordinated through all those valleys. Man, that's crazy. Definitely got to do that in a helicopter next time. The pits, of course, would have taken us 2 hours to do that distance, and we probably would have struggled with a couple of those hills, I'm sure. Probably not a good airplane to take over valleys like that either, but that's okay. All right, so let's go sneaking over here, and I'm going to go get ourselves nice and airborne, but I have to set damage back to on. Okay, looks good. Back to resume. I like that. If you need any help with the heads-up display, oh, that's a great idea, Rick. But I could probably... Actually, it's a great idea. That is a great idea. I might take you up on that one, Rick, in the sense that I would love to basically go borrow you for a video or something like that, because... And for those of you who don't know, Rick's the guy who works on these heads-up displays, so it's actually pretty cool. Lucky us, right? There we go, right there. Get ourselves set to... Oop, that's too many. I want to take off flaps here so we can go swimming. Ooh, that was good stuff. Good stuff. And for those of you who are interested in this region and want to explore a little bit more on the game DCS, I'm not advertising for them. I'm just saying you can. But one of the things they have is they have a free version of this entire environment that you can tool around with in either a Sukhoi 25 or a T-51, which is the trainer version of the P-51. It's pretty cool. So it's also in VR for those of you who are inclined, but it's wild. This is also a DCS plane, but the DCS one's a heck of a lot slower. This is the Microsoft Flight Simulator modified, we don't care anymore version of it, so to speak. All right, let's go find ourselves some water and let's go swimming. Let's see here. Oh, man, let's see. I see you got a lake to the northwest. I guess that's where I'm going swimming today. Everybody else is running to come get caught up to. Oh, there's Simon. He's got the right idea. Had a crazy idea for a castle tour of England, but it's one of those things where I don't know how many castles are actually in Flight Sim. It was just kind of one of those side notes that somebody had mentioned something like, hey, that's kind of a cool idea. That should be something we should do in a future one. And obviously, if anybody has any other suggestions for future ones, sure, go ahead and throw those out, kind of a thing. TCS settings and airliners. Oh, definitely, Simon. That's definitely something I could do. I'm putting that on my little list of things. It won't be for next week, obviously, but I like that. I will definitely do that. That's a question I can answer, and I have a buddy who flies for that stuff now, who I can probably utilize for that purpose. Excellent. TCS. I got to put that on my little notepad here. TCAS airliners. Okay, doing that right now. Cool. Sweet. Let's go swimming. Ha ha ha. The interesting thing is in DCS, if you stomp on the gas like that, your temp goes bam and flies up to like 900, and then it like shakes and goes all over the place as the thing tries to stabilize itself. Man, this thing's sweet at this weight. I like this. All right. Here we go. Not used to flying with the orange light on. I never have low fuel. We never would have made it out of that airport, though. Maybe if it was a little colder, but I don't think we would have made it. All right, let's go swimming. There we go. A little bit of nose down. I actually kind of like the attitude indicator on Eastern Plains over the Western Plain version. It's just like, I don't know, kind of intuitive in a different way, I guess. I don't know. All right, there's our lovely lake. So looks like we have something on TCAS. We have some stuff on the heads-up display. It looks like we'll do. I've got some things to show you as far as landing with bad wheels. Probably save that for a couple weeks. And then, of course, all the usual stuff with the avionics update. But as always, hopefully folks enjoyed. Like I said, a little short today, but I had to run. This is the best time I could kind of jam everything in. But I hope you enjoyed our ridiculously dangerous canyon action. For those of you in VR, go try it out. It's a ton of fun. For those of you who are flat screen, just remember to have that nose up trim and never try to push forward. That'd be kind of my 2 pieces of advice here. All right, let's make a mess of this airplane. Oh, by the way, we have speed brakes, but when you deploy them, it looks like I'm putting my feet out of the bottom of the plane. You might want to pull your feet in before you land there. I don't know, it's just kind of one of those things. All right, let's see how bad we can spin this plane. Not going to hit the water directly here. All right, so I got to bleed off a little bit of speed here. Don't kick the rudder, by the way, with this plane. It's death. All right, let's go ahead and kill that power. What's a stall mean? Is that a bad thing? Right foot. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. There it is. What? That's it? Oh, there it is. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Here comes the big one. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you again in about 2 weeks. Enjoy.